Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. I should point out there are actually a couple of new official scenarios that were added into the game that I probably will want to do at some point, but for now, we got a handful of requests, and the popular tab actually just got reset, and there are a few on here that I think look pretty fun. The Andromeda Strain being the first one on the top of the list that actually looked really promising, and I want to play this one today, by Jagwag. After the United States military decided to launch a satellite specifically to collect cosmic biological substances, it accidentally collected something that would change humanity forever. With a crystalline microorganism that uses energy to reproduce, will humanity ever have a chance to stop the Andromeda Strain? Answer: no! No, they will not! I swear that the download time for the scenarios is getting worse every month, but okay, looks like it's a fungus by default. We'll go for the metabolic jump, genetic mimic, terracite. Yeah, it's probably okay for now. Extremophile and the transstasis. Don't know if I'm going to like that for this particular scenario, but we can keep it. I actually don't remember why I've changed some of my genes around. There were reasons once upon a time, maybe for certain official scenarios, and I haven't played in a long time. Welcome to the Andromeda Strain custom scenario. A military satellite will crash on Earth in Arizona. Hey, my hometown. Bringing with it an unwelcomed visitor. With a planet full of energy, this microbe will have no trouble spreading. The military satellite has crashed. The microorganism immediately killed over 3 million people due to its extreme lethality. No apostrophe there, but it quickly mutated to become less lethal. This organism has already been spotted by the USA, so they are already working on the cure. That's a little bit scary, but okay, we'll go ahead and get started there. Transmissions, we have birds, livestock, air, water, rodents, and plastic disintegration. Oh no, we better get rid of all them plastic straws, or else this organism will come... Topical references, you get it. Pathogen has the ability to use its crystal-like structure to pierce the majority of plastic, increases infectivity, and is hard to cure. Alright, symptoms, we have confusion, dopamine production stimulated to cause bouts of confusion in the host. Insomnia, so two things that make people less productive. Could be pretty nice. Consumptive coagulopathy. Coagulopathy? I think that's right. Pathogen forces blood cells to clump together and form thicker blood. Oh, is that what that means? I had no idea. And nausea. Okay. For our abilities, we have our typical cold, heat, and drug resistance. We also have blood resistance. Pathogen evolves to withstand higher and lower pH values in the blood. I have no idea what that actually translates into, but that's interesting. Crystalline reconfiguration. The crystal structure in the pathogen is modified to have the ability to change the local biosphere, decreasing research speed, and crystalline burst. Release a burst of plague crystalline structures into the air to infect a new country, so this is the way that we would use the fungus. There's a fungus among us all. Go ahead and use that at least once. I would like to get... Wow, Madagascar to start. Okay, not too bad. Let's go ahead and grab just a couple of spore bursts. We're going to try to get on a few of the different continents if we can. The USA has admitted that a military satellite crashed in Piedmont, Arizona. I know where Piedmont is. I totally know where... I don't know where Piedmont is. I'm sure it's in Arizona, I have no doubt. I just don't remember. I mean, I lived in the Phoenix area, but you don't memorize everything out there. It just takes too long, you know what I mean? We may have wanted to go for the pathostasis simply because this is a fungus thing. But whatever. What we actually will want to do at some point is probably pick up a little bit of extra severity. And I'm thinking we go ahead and grab Insomnia first, the reason being that little bit of extra severity might translate into extra points from the red bubbles, and it is worth doing that before we use up all of our spore bursts. Over 3 million people have mysteriously vanished. Loved ones that have called their family for weeks are now wondering exactly where they are and what happened to them. The USA denies any claims of knowing what the cause is. Oh, they're just setting up for a government experience. Not a government experience, a conspiracy theory. Although it could also be a government conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, the conspiracy theorists are going to have a heyday with it. That's where I was trying to go with it, and then I kind of botched it horribly. Let's go ahead and pick up Paranoia. That'll slow people down. More severity means extra points. Let's go for a Crystalline Burst. We went to Japan. Awesome. Pick up the next one. We go into more of Africa. Good. Crystalline Burst. Okay, now we're in Europe. Okay, would love to get some islands with the crystalline eruption, but we will see what happens with that one. I could always save that as my backup option if I fail to get into some of the islands, but I am not going to bother with such incredibly conservative measures. All right, so we have all of that. Now we need to go for probably the plastic disintegration. I'm going to go for a bit of water and air, just to kind of give me a few more options and kind of be effective in a lot of different places. The Eurozone is apparently near collapse, even though we haven't really done much of anything. So that kind of sucks for you guys. Let's see. What should we do next? I'm thinking maybe birds would be good for the extra land transmission kind of early on. And for that, we only need 7 DNA, which is really not all that bad. Boop, boop, boop-a-doop. Good news is we actually will spread across the world pretty quickly. What I'm worried about is water, hence why I'm going to go ahead and pick up that extra water transmission early on. Probably should work toward the extreme bioaerosol. There's also an air level 3. The pathogen gets the ability to be suspended in the air with no need for attachments to a material. Pretty darn effective overall, but I really want the extra ship transmission to make sure I can get into some of these islands, because, you know, the fungus does have some trouble with that. That's why you really want to use the spore bursts as effectively in the early game as is possible. So we could go for more of that. I can also go for a bit more birds, which I will do for the land-based transmission. Then I think we want to go for maybe some cold or heat. Well, the USA is a mild climate, so we don't really have any innate strength against anything. We're going to want to go for both. Start off with the drug resistance, though, so we can be a bit more effective in places like Europe. We are starting to spread throughout the world, kind of in weird spots, but we're hitting critical mass in South America, a bit east of Iraq and Afghanistan. Got through Madagascar pretty well as well here. That's interesting. Let's go for some heat resistance, get a little bit of both. Wildfire has been activated by the USA. What is this? Following the events of what Andromeda has caused, the USA has activated Wildfire, a specialized team meant for serious biological hazards. Fascinating. I'm glad to see that you guys are doing something. They've started working on a cure. I thought they were already doing that. All right, do we want even more plastics? Metallic disintegration, never mind. Production of certain chemicals in the pathogen allowed to dissolve the majority of metallic substances. Could be good, but we may want to go for some symptoms at this point. There is aggression, of course, which is slightly lethal. Memory loss will be very hard to cure. Go for some nausea as well, make things a little bit easier if people start to kiss. International Kissing Day will, of course, be a light godsend for us. Andromeda is not from this planet, officials say. Researchers have been... Sorry, research... Why can I not read today? Research has been conducted, thank you, and results show that Andromeda cannot possibly originate here from Earth. More studies are needed to confirm this. I thought the USA was already aware of all of this stuff. Is it just like the public is now catching up? Let's go for some vomit, some consumptive coagulopathy. That's a really weird word to say. Aneurysmal dilatation. Not dilation, dilatation. Expansion of the blood causes aneurysms in multiple places, but somehow is not lethal. Nor severe, nor infective. Ask me how that works. Let's see, we could decrease future research speed, which might not be bad. Drug resistance is a little on the expensive side. I'm not really sure what blood resistance does for us. We do have aggression, which is a little bit concerning because that's a little tiny bit of lethality. We may actually want to devolve this to reduce the odds that, let's say, Greenland decides to shut that down. Let's go for some livestock to improve my odds of spreading in Russia, because I would like to get a boat into Greenland as quick as we can. What are we missing right now? Iceland, Greenland, Morocco, and the Philippines. None of which are shot down. There is Morocco. Good. We have a lot of points coming in, surprisingly. Let's go for some metallic disintegration. Organic material destruction. Sounds pretty good. And there's complete material destruction. The majority of material is susceptible to the pathogen, very hard to cure, and greatly increases infectivity. Sounds like the sort of thing that I would like to see. There's Iceland. There's the Philippines. It really does come down to you, Mr. Greenland, sir. Mr. Greenland, sir. That would have been a good time to send the boat. Russia. Thank you! All right, now we can go for the lethality. We got our aggression back. Let's go for insanity. It's a little hard to cure. Then there is suicide, which is going to, of course, be quite lethal. Total organ failure is available to us as well, and a brain hemorrhage, also pretty lethal. I imagine that is the case. Aneurysmal dilation seems to be... Actually, we seem to be getting a lot more mutation chance. I'm kind of jumping over my words, and I'm not too sure why today, but yes, it seems like we are getting a lot more mutation chance as time goes on here. I don't think anything was tied to that, though. It may just be luck. But we're getting some pretty good ones. I'm really not starving for points, which is a little bit surprising. We're doing okay on that front. The USA has announced that Wildfire Research Lab has been destroyed by a nuclear detonation sequence. USA states that Andromeda entered the research labs and caused the detonation. Most of the scientists escaped. First off, you have to have a lot of advanced warning if you think you're going to get away from a nuclear blast, okay? Secondly, am I a conscious, sentient, well, I want to say fungus, but crystalline microbe? Because holy crud, that's impressive. I would love to be a self-aware and conscious microbe. All right, we have the total organ failure. People are going to start dying really rapidly. The question, of course, is, are we going to get critical mass in Greenland and in Canada? Both are resisting a little bit, but it looks like we are starting to get there. Little concerned about Greenland here. Wildfire team has officially collapsed, so no more research being done down that way. Okay, we have a little too much in terms of lethality. Let's actually go ahead and reduce this just for a minute. Just for a minute. Make sure that we are able to spread in Greenland. The worst... and Canada, actually. Canada's a bit of a problem here. Stop trying to kill yourselves! Gosh dang it, I just devolved that, and everyone's like, you know what we should do? Commit suicide. It's horrible. It's sad. It's tragic, really. Canada is about to hit that critical mass that we're looking for. Now I feel pretty confident. Now you guys are welcome to resume what you were working on before. All right? I'm not too worried about whatever it was. You go for it. You do you. And in the meantime, only 100 million people left. That's a pretty reasonable scenario right there, actually. Symptoms are pretty straightforward, but overall not too bad. At least there are a few options, and they do get progressively more and more lethal, so the balance there makes a bit of sense. Not too much in the way of the spore bursts. Usually there's a whole second section over here. I really don't understand what blood resistance does. I mean, I get higher and lower pH values. Okay, fine. But if you don't tell me exactly what that means, I probably won't pick it up because I just don't know what to take out of that. Overall, the really only difference here in the transmissions is going to be the disintegration stuff, which works out pretty well. And of course, a complete material destruction would make sense, that it would slow down the cure research. So overall, I think this is a perfectly well-balanced scenario. It's fine. It's got a pretty reasonable theme to it. Andromeda has officially destroyed humanity. The last few humans infected with Andromeda know they're watching the end of history. Everything around them is destroyed, and Andromeda will continue to plague the planet. My question is, if Andromeda has managed to cause nuclear destruction, was it done so just kind of inadvertently because it kind of ate through the casings? Or is it sentient? And if it's sentient, then I want to know what the heck is this microbe doing to Earth and why, and... I don't know. I want a story. I want to see some sort of sense of satisfaction. The entire world has been turned into crystal. Or something. I don't know. Either way, it works fine for me. Good scenario, 2 stars, 47,560 points, 491 days. A little on the slower side, but not that big of a surprise for a fungus. Only 49% cure progress, despite the fact that the USA started off aware of me. Yeah, I think it's good. There's really not much to dislike about it. Well done. It's also well written, not a lot of errors, aside from maybe a few apostrophes in the ITS, but that's about it. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment with your suggestions. Subscribe if you have not already, and hit that notify bell. My name is Pravus, and I will see you guys next time.